joining me, boys and girls. I'm a little disappointed that I couldn't meet with you in person because I really enjoy seeing you and also answering all the many questions that you have after I give my presentation, plus giving you some goodies. I'll talk at the end how you can still get them. So today I'm going to talk to you about what it's like to be a real estate agent in the state of Georgia, and also how do you become one of them. Let's start there. My name is Heather Murray and I work with Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate in Executive Partners, and that's in Augusta, Georgia. That's where our office is located. However, I have my license in the state of Georgia, so I can help you buy or sell a home anywhere in the CSRA area. I also have my South Carolina license. Since we're so close to the South Carolina border, we have something called reciprocal. So if I get my license in Georgia, I can then also apply to get it in South Carolina, which I did. So I'll talk to you a little bit about how you become a real estate agent. There's a couple things first that need to be requirements. You are required to have these things first. One of them is you have to be 18 years age or older, so basically be an adult. The other thing is you have to have your high school diploma or its equivalent. So study hard and get that high school degree. You could also have your GED if you didn't get through high school. The other thing is that you have to take a class, 75 hours. This is my binder of when I took my class. All of my notes that go along with this book. You can either take the class in person, which is what I did because I just generally learn better that way, and I really enjoy a classroom setting. You could also take it online. So the first thing that I have to do is take a pre-license. Pre means before, so before you get your license, you have to take a pre-license class, which is 75 hours long. In that class, we go through this book, which talks all about how to become a real estate agent, as well as what the Georgia law is. So I took this class, 75 hours. This is the book again, lots of information. Here are my notes. So I studied after I took the 75 hours of classes, which on the front you can see evenings and weekends. Took me a couple months to take the class, again, because I prefer a classroom setting. If you do it online, it might be shorter. After you take the class, you have to pass in the class an exam. If you pass that exam in class, then you can go and take the state exam. That's only located in a couple places in the state of Georgia, Savannah, Macon, or Atlanta. You have to drive to one of those testing locations and take the exam. You have to pay for the exam before you take it, so make sure when you take that exam, you have studied a lot so that you can pass it. Once you take the exam and you pass it, then you can get your license. Once you get your license, and I can go ahead and show you what that looks like. It's an official. Now on here it says salesperson, which is what you'll see also. Salesperson and agent are pretty much the same word. Basically, I can help people buy and sell real estate. I can do that in the state of Georgia. Here's my Georgia license. And then also, as I mentioned before, I have a South Carolina license. So that just shows people that I am official and I can help people in Georgia and South Carolina buy and sell real estate. Now, what kind of real estate can I help people sell or buy? The first one and most common is what we call residential. Residence, a place where people live. Most of you watching this video live in a residence or a home. A home could also be an apartment. It doesn't have to be a house. Basically, a residence is your home. The other part of real estate that I can sell is called commercial. Basically, think about when you're watching TV and in between the TV shows is a commercial. Usually that's promoting a business or a product. So a commercial real estate is usually a building that sells things or offers some type of service. And people don't live in commercial buildings. So there's residential, there's commercial, and the third one is land. Sometimes people buy land and then they build things on it. Sometimes people just buy land to have the land, or some places of the country you can farm the land, or you can have cattle on the land, chickens on the land, all sorts of things that you can do on your land once you own it. You just have to make sure you're using it for the right reasons. So as a real estate agent, I can help people buy and sell residential, commercial, and land. And then another thing that I help people do also is called property management. That's when somebody owns a home and they want to rent out that home. I can help the owner find a renter and help with that whole process as well. So let's focus on me helping someone buy a house. Although remember, as a real estate agent, I can help people sell their homes, I can help people rent their homes, I can sell land, and I can also buy and sell commercial buildings. But for right now today, we're going to focus on buying a home. So the first thing that happens is somebody comes and says, "Hey, Miss Heather, I'd like to buy a home." My questions to them are, how big do you want it? How many bedrooms? Do you know the location that you want? Have you thought about different amenities? Big word. Amenities, that's things that the neighborhood might offer, such as a pool, sidewalks, a walking trail, street lights for when you walk your dog at night. Sometimes people care about those things. Sometimes people just want to be out in the country and they don't need any sidewalks. So it's very important for me to figure out, along with the buyer, what's important to them. Do they want a garage, or are they fine with keeping their car just in the driveway? So many things to find out what is important to that buyer. Once I find out what's important to that buyer, I go on to my computer and I pull up all these houses. So I pull up a whole list of houses and I can sort them individually side the house and then all of the details. So the next thing I do is I send about 10 or 15 homes that I think might be what the buyer would like to buy, and I email them that list. I ask them to pick their top 5 that they would like to go and see in person. We schedule a time that we can meet at the office, and then I show them the house. I show them how it has, if you can see, the bedrooms. Another thing that's really important, especially to parents who have students such as yourself, is the school that that neighborhood or that area is zoned for. So let's say that you go to Parkway Elementary and your parents would like to move. However, they want to make sure that you still go to Parkway Elementary. So when I put in my search, I make sure to put Parkway as something that's very important and only pick up the homes that are in that area where those children can still go to that school. Sometimes parents don't care. Doesn't matter where their children go to school. They just want a house that has 4 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. So I go and put that in the search and I can pop up things all over the CSRA to show them. So once we find the homes that they want, I print this out. It has the sizes of the rooms, which that's important. Is their bed going to fit in that room? We need to make sure we know the sizes of the rooms as well as a description of what that property might have. So we go and see the homes. The buyer finds one that he likes. So what's the next step? The buyer comes to me and we have a discussion. We have a meeting. What would you like to pay for this house? Are there any special stipulations? Another big word. Any special things that you would like to have along with this house? Like, would you like to have the refrigerator included? Would you like the owner to still take care and maintain the lawn during the 30-day process that this is going to take? Would you like the owner, the seller, to buy you a home warranty? So there's all sorts of things that we can put into what's called a contract. This is something I help the buyer do. It's called a purchase and sale agreement. The seller's agreeing to sell their house. The buyer's agreeing to buy the house as long as all of these things are met. So we can negotiate. Once we get to a binding contract, the next step is to get a home inspection. That is when the buyer hires a home inspector to come and look at the home to make sure that the home is in good fashion. If there's something wrong with the home, the buyer can always go back and ask the seller to fix it. And sometimes homes are sold as is. That means that the seller will not fix anything and that the buyer buys the house as is. However, having a home inspection is important because before the buyer buys that home, they know what things need to be repaired and what things are in good working order. So we have the home inspection. The buyer can either pay for the home in cash. If they do a good job of saving their money, they can buy the home in cash. Another thing that a lot of people do is they borrow the money. They borrow the money from a lender. The lender lends the buyer the money, and then all at once, a big lump sum. And then the buyer pays back the lender every month what's called a mortgage. That's a big word as well. A mortgage is your payment back to the lender plus your taxes plus your home, not inspection, not warranty. It'll come to me. Insurance, that's it. So your mortgage is your payment back to the lender, your taxes, and your home insurance. All lumped together, that's called a mortgage. So if you live in a home and your parents are paying a mortgage, now you know what they're paying for. So once we get to the point that we did the home inspection, we go on to the closing. That's usually 30 days after the offer. What a closing is when the buyer, and myself as the buyer's agent, along with the seller and that seller's listing agent, come together to a lawyer's office, and the lawyer makes sure that all the paperwork is correct, that that seller has the legal right to sell their home, and the buyer has the funds to buy that home. Once that's completed, the seller gives the buyer the keys, and the seller gets the money for the house. And then everybody's happy. So that's the best part of my job. I love my job so much. I meet so many people from not only around the country, but from around the world. The last house that I helped somebody buy, they were from Germany. So that was so exciting to meet somebody who had lived in Germany. And through our time of seeing so many houses, you develop a relationship with them and you become friendly with them. And it's so interesting to learn. Another house that I recently sold, they were actually in the military. And the military was having them move from here in Georgia to Alaska. So I had to help him sell his house, and then I also helped him buy a house in Alaska. So that was a wonderful transaction, relationship where I got to meet some people. So if you have any questions, again, that's the thing I said that I really miss not being able to be with y'all. This is my website. It's Realtor706.com. With the help of an adult in the house, if you would like to go on there and ask me a question, you can ask me a question. If you would like to put down that you would like to come to the office and get a goodie bag, put that in the comments as well, and we can schedule a time for once everything's back to normal, we can have you come into the office and do a tour, or just come by and pick up a goodie bag. The last thing that I want to mention is if any of the adults watching would like this free book. You know, part of real estate is not only knowing what the homes are like and being able to get a key and open the door, but it's also how to build relationships with people. That's one of the biggest things that I see successful real estate agents do very well, is having relationships with all sorts of people and being able to talk and get along with people from around the world. This book is called The Power of the Human Connection. This is by far one of my most favorite books that I've ever read. It's you transform your business with appreciation. So this is for an adult in your family that would really like to increase, it doesn't matter what business they're with, they can get this book for free. If you would like to get this book, I would love to share this with you, and just write to me at realtor706.com and I will send you this book. If you have any other questions, write to me as well. Thank you so much for your time, boys and girls. I know that this has been a real difficult situation and you all are just handling it with such class. Bye-bye.